Robert Hur goes before H-U-R, you know how it bothers me, goes before the House Judiciary Committee and gets questioned about this report that we know Joe Biden did not much like. Here's a little bit from his opening statement defending himself because, of course, the president was unhappy about the characterizations on his memory in that report. It's SOT 1.
The evidence and the president himself put his memory squarely at issue. We interviewed the president and asked him about his recorded statement. Quote, "I just found all the classified stuff downstairs," end quote. He told us that he didn't remember saying that to his ghostwriter. He also said he didn't remember finding any classified material in his home after his vice presidency. And he didn't remember anything about how classified documents about Afghanistan made their way into his garage. My assessment in the report about the relevance of the president's memory was necessary and accurate and fair. Most importantly, what I wrote is what I believe the evidence shows and what I expect jurors would perceive and believe. I did not sanitize my explanation, nor did I disparage the president unfairly.
So what do you make of that, Mike? Because it did seem pretty uncontroversial to me that in prosecuting a case in which he had to prove willfulness, or at least that's the standard he was going with, holding himself to the most difficult standard possible. There's been some criticism that he didn't need to do that. It was a lower bar. But in any event, he said, my task was to determine whether the president retained or disclosed national defense information willfully, meaning knowingly, with the intent to do something the law forbids. I couldn't make that determination without assessing his state of mind.
Yeah, so Robert Hur's investigative team, they found 6 stashes of Biden's stolen classified records from his time as vice president and even as from his time as a senator. I don't know how you explain that, because that means you'd have to take the classified records out of the Senate SCIF. These records were moved several times. They were unguarded for years. They were accessible to a Chinese national employed by the Bidens. And as Miranda Devine reported in the New York Post, they look like some of these classified records were used by Hunter Biden to draft a 23-point memo to secure Burisma funding for the Bidens. But then Robert Hur, so we've established, it looks like that President Trump willfully took and kept, so he willfully retains these national security documents, these classified records, but Robert Hur declined to bring charges against Biden because Robert Hur says he can't prove, there's doubt whether he can prove willfulness because of Biden's faulty memory. I think that Robert Hur, to put it legally, saved Biden's ass here, and the Democrats are furious because Robert Hur stated what everyone already knows, which is Biden has a declining mental state.
Dave, what did you make of it?
Good to be back with you, Megyn and Mike. You know, I was expecting that the Democrats would go after Robert Hur, and I was surprised that the Republicans went after him more than the Democrats. This is why we live in different bubbles, and as a Democrat, people on my side have been outraged by the fact that Hur included what seemed to be gratuitous comments about Joe Biden's memory. And it looks like, according to the latest reports with the transcript that has come out, that Biden did know the exact date that his son died. So Hur seemed
he didn't know the year.
You're right.
He knew the day.
He knew the exact dates. And then as far as the year, he said when...
The date requires a year. When they say date, when were you? What is the date on which you were born? You don't just get to say May 1st.
Well, then when Hur said 2015, I said, wow, was it 2015? That could be taken different ways. That could be taken as, man, I spent a lot of time. I'm telling you. But here's the thing. I was surprised that the Republicans are going after him more because Democrats are displeased with him, which shows you that we're so divided that you can try to please everyone, you'll please no one. Merrick Garland, that's a lesson for you. But so far, the key thing here is that Robert Hur has emphasized that it's not the possession of the documents that'll get you charged. It's the refusal to give them back. And that's what separates Biden from Donald Trump.
All right, you're going to make me go through the transcript, aren't you? Because the transcript, we haven't actually seen it, of Robert Hur and Joe Biden, but apparently it's 250 pages. The New York Times reviewed what they described as a lightly redacted copy of it, so we're getting excerpts from them. They published this section. Biden, well, I don't know. This is what, 2017, 2018, that area? Where's the preceding question? I had this written down someplace where they're getting into it. And the question to him from Robert Hur, I'll find it. But in any event, he was asking Joe Biden, oh, here it is. Hur pressed Joe Biden where he kept papers related to work he did after leaving the vice presidency in January 2017. Okay, so that makes sense. Biden leaves the vice presidency. Of course, Obama left the presidency. And in January 17, Trump was sworn in. So Hur is asking him, where'd you keep your papers relating to the work you did after you left the vice presidency? And Biden's response is, well, I don't know. This is what, 2017, 2018, that area? Hur, yes, sir. Biden, remember, in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying. And so it was, and by the way, there were still a lot of people at the time when I got out of the Senate that were encouraging me to run in this period, except the president. I'm not a mean thing to say. He just thought she had a better shot of winning the presidency than I did. And so I hadn't at this point, even though I'm at Penn, I hadn't walked away from the idea that I may run for office again. But if I ran again, I'd be running for president. And so what was happening though, what month did Beau die? Oh God, May 30th. Interrupting here, Rachel Cotton, a White House lawyer, 2015. Unidentified male speaker, 2015. Biden, was it 2015 he had died? Unidentified male speaker. It was May of 2015. Biden, it was 2015. Robert Bauer, Biden's personal lawyer. I'm not sure of the month, sir, but I think that was the year. Mark Crickbaum, Hur's deputy. That's right, Mr. President, Biden. And what's happened in the meantime is that as Trump gets elected in November 2017, this is a question from Joe Biden. Trump gets elected in November of 2017, unidentified male speaker. 2016, unidentified male speaker. 16, Biden. 2016. All right, so why do I have 2017 here? That's when you left office, says Ed Siskel, his White House counsel, January of 2017. Biden, yeah, okay, but that's when Trump gets sworn in, January. Siskel, right. Bauer, right. Biden, okay, yeah. And in 2017, Beau had passed. Okay, Dave. There is nothing in that suggests Biden is recalling anything. I mean, you could see, what month first he doesn't know. What month did Beau die? Then he remembers May 30th. Then two people have to remind him 2015. Then he says, was it 2015? Then he was told, yeah, it was May of 15. Then Biden says, okay, it was 2015. Then they're still trying to help him. I'm not sure of the month, but I think it was that year. Yes, that's right. What happened in the meantime? Trump gets elected in November of 20. He doesn't know when Trump got elected. November of 2017? Hello? No, it wasn't November of 2017. The whole world knows it was November of 16. Dave.
Oh, well, is that a question?
That's my question. That's my question. Dave, come on.
Well, as I said, when he knew May 30th, he got that date. And then he, as far as wasn't sure about the year, and then he was surprised a little bit about the year. Yes. So you can get him for that. But, when we continue to harp on Joe Biden being senile and all that stuff, what that does is lower the expectations so much so that when he gives a really strong State of the Union speech, all of a sudden he meets and exceeds those low expectations. So you got to be careful what you ask for here. And as far as what Robert Hur did, yeah, I just think as a prosecutor, you focus on the issue of, did Joe Biden commit a crime? He said, no, he did not. And then you move on. And instead, he came out with this hundreds of pages of stuff that was now being used politically. And I think that oversteps his bounds.
Okay, I understand your feeling, but I don't think that's what happened at all. I think he did need to explain why he wasn't charging him. I understand Republicans are mad about the standard. They said, you held him to too high a standard. The burden of proof was lower. But Hur is saying, in my mind, my understanding was I had to prove willfulness, and I can't do it with a doddering man who has a poor memory. And it doesn't mean that you always forget everything It's just there's a doggy visiting Dave. Who's that?
Oh, you
Dave?
can see Getty? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
sweet dog.
See, there you go. Let's talk about.
We needed a guest star appearance today. Okay, so anyway, here's the real shocker to me, Mike. I mean, we'd heard something about this, but to see it actually, come out. Joe Biden came out there and misled us all. He misled us all. The day the Hur report hit, Joe Biden came out and said, this is, offensive. Remember, because he was on his heels. It said he was this well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. So he held that impromptu press conference, tried to prove to us all that he still had it together. And then he confused El-Sisi as the president of Mexico and so on. And in that press conference, he feigned indignation. That's my characterization based on the news we've seen here about how it was allegedly Robert Hur who brought up the death of his son. That's what he said. And the transcript I just read to you proves Joe Biden, brought up his son. Robert Hur didn't ask anything about him. That's not what happened. Here's Joe Biden on February 8th, the day this report came out, and he had his impromptu press conference. Listen, SOT 7.
I know there's some attention paid to some language in the report about my recollection of events. There's even reference that I don't remember when my son died. How in the hell dare he raise that? Frankly, when I was asked the question, I thought to myself, it wasn't any of their damn business.
When I was asked the question. And once again, just taking you back to the beginning of that transcript, Hur's pressing him where he kept papers related to work he did after he left the vice presidency in January 17. Biden, I don't know. This is what, 17, 18, that area? Hur, yes, sir. Biden, remember in this time frame, my son is either been deployed or is dying. And so blah, 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 and finishes it with, what month did Bo die? Oh God, May 30th. And then it goes from there. Not a single question here. From Robert Hur about Beau Biden. It was Joe Biden who brought that up. Financial experts thought we were in the clear. They were anticipating around 6 rate cuts by the Fed this year, and then the inflation data came out higher than expected. This isn't going away anytime soon. How could it? The U.S. is $34 trillion in the hole, and yet we keep just printing money, which pushes the prices you pay every day even higher. So you can either bury your head in the sand or you can do something about it. One option to consider is to diversify a portion of your savings into gold with Birch Gold Group. Gold can be your hedge against inflation, and Birch Gold makes it easy to own. They will help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold, and you don't pay a penny out of pocket. Text Megyn to 989898 and get your free info kit on gold. Then talk to a precious metals specialist about how you can choose to protect your savings from persistent inflation with gold. Just text my name, MEGYN, to 989898 right now. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.